Hey guys, and welcome to the Hobby News. Alright, so back in the hot seat again for another week of interesting stuff. And yeah, it looks like an army that, I guess has struggled to see a complete range for themselves for a very long time, or at least, be in the spotlight, as it were. Pretty much until the first time they were released, and I was there for that. And yeah, it's a sort of a weird moment. I think I've talked about this before. Coming back into the hobby after years, and everything seems to be going around in a cycle, and it feels very much like we're having a 2.0 version of an older time. But anyway, it's interesting stuff. So let's get into it. So yeah, Black Templars are getting a codex, their own supplement, I guess, and what looks like a whole bunch of new models and things, which is really interesting. We've already seen the Emperor's Champion, the Primarisified version, and it looks like things are continuing down that vein, which is cool. I've talked about this before. I really like the size of the Primaris, regardless of, your thoughts on Firstborn or Primaris in terms of the lore and so on. Just from a modelling standpoint, the larger models are really nice. Being old now, my eyes aren't as good as they used to be, and having that slightly larger model is actually quite nice for painting and converting and stuff like that. So it is a nice thing. I've been collecting Death Guard, and the Death Guard models are bigger as well, and they're awesome because you can just get into all the details and everything a lot more satisfyingly. So it's one of those things. But anyway, let's take a look and see what they've got for us. So you may have seen during our Codex roadmap last week that the Black Templars are on the way soon, with a brand new Emperor's Champion leading the charge and some whispers on the wind of a launch box in the works. Yeah, so they're going to definitely have a launch box like they've done with Hexfire and so on for the Grey Knights and Thousand Suns, and looks like this will be no different. And they should have what looks like a bunch of new models, and by the hints we're going to see in a second, they're getting the full Primaris treatment, it looks like. So to whet your appetite, here's the spectacular cover art for the upcoming Codex supplement. Black Templars, chain your bolter to your wrist and put your crusading pants on. We're going smiting. And then it gives you a little joke, not the kind of psycho smiting, because, Black Templars hate all that stuff. So yeah, we've got a really nice image here, beautiful art, from whichever artist did it. It'd be nice if they had a little thing there that showed the artist. But anyway, yeah, really, really cool. Like they fit perfectly. They're one of those chapters that really epitomizes the grimdark aesthetic of the Warhammer universe. And, they need a book. Then when they first arrived all those years ago now, it was an obvious thing to have this type of chapter that's extremely religious and, all of that stuff, and, taking on almost I guess almost a King Arthur vibe, or that sort of like Crusader, knightly type of thing, in a different way to Dark Angels. It's much more, I guess. Yeah, it's got a lot of influences there. All those different religious crusades in our history and in human history, and they're sort of embodying some of those elements, plus a lot of the, I guess, ignorance around witches and things like that from bygone eras in our own human history, and they're embodying those types of sentiments towards psychers and all that kind of stuff. And so they're playing around with a lot of imagery that's very familiar to our own history in human life. And so they really dance that edge. And I think that it's definitely like a fun modeling project, right? You can really dig into all of that and add some really cool flavor and fun to your models. And hopefully they'll have some upgrade sprues and some things to add in to give them that extra flavor, and really have all that the candles and the little iconography and all the little tapestries and things that get draped over their vehicles and all the rest of it. It's a really fun chapter, and obviously black is a great color to play around with. There's actually a lot you can do with black, and if you don't know that, just check some of my videos lately, the tutorials that I've been doing a lot of highlighting with black, or glazing contrast colors into black. There's so many things you can do that are really quite fun. So that's really cool. So true heirs of Sigismund may notice that the gentleman in the middle has distinctly black and red shoulder pads, which mark him out as one of the elite sword brethren. But doesn't he also appear to be wearing the armor of a Primaris Primaris Space Marine. How curious. Yes, so that they're getting the full treatment, it looks like. And yeah, I think that's all for the better. It's great for modeling and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, you can still do your firstborn, like all that kind of thing. That's still a viable thing to do. You know, but yeah, this just looks really cool. And that knightly, the way they've got the gorget here and the newer style of helmets and so on, I think really suit Black Templars as well. And these sort of greave knee pad things here and all of that. All that sort of stuff really lends itself well to Black Templars. So it should be a pretty seamless crossover into that Primaris style, just because it suits them so well. You know, I'm thinking like the Blade Guy veteran and so on, that kind of aesthetic is perfect for Black Templars. So yeah, and this is the book. So yeah, it should be really interesting. Coming soon, we're going to see a box, a bunch of new models. It's an exciting time, right? It should be interesting for Marine players to really get into that, and tons of conversion possibilities for your own chapters, you know, custom chapter stuff, a whole range of good options for Marine players to, you know, pilfer all these pieces. So that's really cool. And now on to another 40k little bit of news. We've got some Necromunda stuff, and yeah, this is really fun. I really like these models. Again, Necromunda just seems to be like, you know, one of those 40k ranges that just seems to be, you know, hitting its stride. It's got some really beautiful models in there, really interesting stuff. And like I've said before, Necromunda's that sort of game system and lore and background for a game that allows them to really dig in to the 40k universe in a way that they can't do in the main game. And you're really seeing that all the latest releases that have come for Necromunda have all been really interesting. Tons of unique models and all that kind of stuff. Just really cool. A little bit like how they do with the Underworld stuff. You know, all of those little warbands are all really unique, and they end up getting used for tons of conversions in the main games because they're such great models. And here we've got no difference. So let's take a look and see what we've got. So can't seem to catch a break in the Underhive. Do your tactics leave something to be desired? Does your gang need some proper military expertise to be successful? Thanks to the alliance with House Greim or Grime, you can add a dapper new military attaché to your forces and bring a bit of pizzazz both to your tactics and your outfits. Let's take a first look at the awesome new Kriegmeister and Jägerkin models, here to add a bit of martial discipline to your gang. Yeah, so this is really cool. So this is like classic 40k right here. Sort of your rogue trader style element here. This would actually make a really cool rogue trader, actually. You know, someone from a highborn house that's inherited the you know, the documents to be a rogue trader and all that sort of thing. This is a really cool model for that. Yeah, I love everything about it. I love this really unique bionic leg here with that sort of lion paw and the ball underneath that he sort of walks around on. Yeah, it's a really awesome, really awesome aesthetic for a model, and it says so much about the 40k universe, you know, and really harkens back to that earlier time. Yeah, it's a great model, and I can see so many people converting this and so many people doing paint jobs on it. I'm very tempted to get this just to muck around with it. So many guard armies that would use this. Yeah, I mean, what can you say? It's just really cool, and I love that they're continuing along these lines and adding that in, because it just adds that little bit of fun flavor to the game, which the game can be, I guess, sometimes lose a bit of that. You know, as I said, it's hard for them to keep that sort of flavor in there. It's very difficult, but here with these smaller systems, they can really, you know, find that I guess it's tapping into a bit of a nostalgic vibe of an earlier era in Games Workshop history, you know, that sort of 80s, 90s era where everything was wild and free and you could do whatever you like, and the company was a different place and run by different people, and you know, that sort of hobby focus and that sort of enjoyment of all of this was really present. And, you know, I feel like these smaller game systems allow, you know, some of those teams that are on those game systems to indulge in that 80s, 90s flair. And I feel like it comes through. You know, Blood Bowl, it definitely does. The fun and enjoyment of those models is still evident to this day. Necromunda has it. What else? Yeah, the Underworld stuff even has it. No matter what you think of the actual game itself, the models always come out with some interesting stuff. stuff. You know, they've got a range of stuff there that's really fun. Even Warcry, yeah, it's very, very cool to see. And now we see Kill Team as well, which looks like they're going to follow the same thing, where they're able to dig into some more individual models that you see in the universe that you just don't normally get in the main games. So House Greim claims to be the most military accomplished of the noble houses of Necromunda, despite the fact that most of these members have never seen a battlefield. Still, that doesn't stop them sending their lower ranked sons and daughters into the Underhive to get some experience of real fighting. So yeah, that's a cool thing. So we don't know how much experience he's had, but you know, he likes to, you know, model himself after a commander, and that's cool, you know. Yeah, really fun. So then we've got this Jaegerkin here. So this is a really cool model too. So there's tons of things you could do for this one. You know, this kind of feels very much almost Van Saar-like, or you could do, yeah, I mean, you know, the possibilities are endless with a model like this. It's so, you know, just, I don't want to use the word generic, but there's so much sort of, you know, elements of 40k design that are in this that could be anything. You know, you could use this model for all kinds of purposes and other game systems as well. All of those agnostic game systems, like I think Stargrave, isn't it? Where you can pick your own models. This type of model is perfect for those kind of systems. So yeah, the Kriegmeisters are always accompanied by their Jaegerkin, bonded servants drawn from the Astra Militarum, and who are tasked with keeping their noble alive. They're superior fighters, and as you can see, they are far more at home in skirmish, in a skirmish than on parade. Yeah, so we've got some scars there and so on. Yeah, you know, it's all good. It's a fun. Even this sort of almost Judge Dredd style. I know that's not Judge Dredd, but it's got a very someone's obviously painted to give a little nod to Judge Dredd there because of the colours. Yeah, that's really cool. If anyone notices that, I'm pretty sure that's what that's nodding towards, but you know, from the painter. But yeah, really good. A lot of fun. And then we've got a nice bit of art here from I guess the concept art that would have been drawn for the model, which is nice as well. So yeah, that's pretty much all we've got for this week. I don't think there's any more there. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please hit that like button, subscribe button. It really helps me out. And I guess I'll catch you on the next one.